Recording in progress.
Good evening and welcome to the City Council meeting, September 3rd, 2024. With that, if we could have a roll call, please.
Luther,
Here.
Crow,
Here.
Sutherland, Yanko,
Here.
McCullough, Schweppes,
Here.
Gentz,
Here.
Solberg,
Here.
Schlu,
Here.
Erdman,
Here.
Sommerfeld.
Okay, thank you. No special recognitions this evening. Approval of minutes. If somebody'd like to approve the minutes, you can do that with a motion. Go ahead, Ryland.
I would make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Thank you, Chad.
Like the second Ryland's motion?
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Public comments. Public comments is a portion of our meeting where anybody can speak for 3 minutes or less on agenda items for the evening. So if you'd like to speak, come on up to the podium, give us your name and address, do sign in, and push the little button down so we can hear you. So good evening. Public comments is now open.
I'm going to sign my name before I forget to do it because I will.
And we wish that you would talk loud as well, so we can all.
I have never been told that before, but I'll give it a try. I'm Sylvia Gangenbach. I'm here representing Let's Paint the Town, which I hope most of you are now familiar with. We've been running special events for the community for the past 4 years. And we're really pleased this year to once again be working with the Menomonie High School to do a homecoming community event. We did this last year and it was such a great success that we've decided to make it an annual event with their blessing. And so on September 20th, when Menomonie High School has their homecoming, we will be first enjoying the parade and then having an event in Wilson Park. And Wilson Park will be alive with lots of activities. We've got food vendors coming. There are, at this point, I think 6 or 7 food trucks that will be along the park. And then we have a performance by Homegrown Tomatoes after the parade. And then when people are finish enjoying the concert, they can go off to the football game at 7 o'clock. So we're asking for the City Council's approval of this event. We do not have our insurance certificate yet, but it is in the works from Schuler Insurance. And so if you could approve it conditionally, we would very much appreciate that. Thank you.
Sylvia. Okay. Public comments is open. If anybody else would like to speak, come forward. Last call for public comments. Okay, we'll close public comments and move on with the rest of our meeting. Under new business, 4A, proposed ordinance 2024-12, an ordinance amending section 632A of the city code to include all terrain vehicles and utility terrain vehicles in exhibition driving. There we go. Ben, can you explain that for us?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council, this matter I did bring up to you previously. This is in addition to the ATV UTV ordinance we did. After speaking with the prosecutor, Allison Moore, and with the police chief, they wanted the ability to cite individuals for if they were driving recklessly on ATV UTVs after the ordinance goes in place. So they requested that the exhibition driving ordinance that we currently have also or be amended to also include ATVs and UTVs. Police chief is here if you do have additional questions, but that should be it.
Okay, thank you. Eric, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I just appreciate Allison Moore's and Ben Ludeman's work on this ordinance update as well as the police chief. City staff has had a chance to review this, and we think that that is a more than adequate update to be able to provide it enforcement activity should we need to do so.
Okay, any questions from council? Otherwise, if anybody would like to introduce this ordinance, you could do this at this time. Ryland.
I would make a motion to.
Oh, could you just want to introduce it?
Yes, I would like to introduce.
Okay, we'll get your
ordinance.
signature on the introduction for the ordinance. Now, if you'd like to make a motion to waive the first reading, you can do so at this time.
Yeah, I would make a motion to waive the first reading.
Is there a second to that motion, Randy?
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and seconded to waive the first reading. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now we need a motion to waive the second reading. Chad,
Make a motion to waive the second reading of ordinance 2024-12.
Matthew,
I'll second Chad's motion.
motion been made and seconded to waive the second reading. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now we need a motion to adopt the ordinance. Go ahead, Ryland.
Yeah, I would make a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-12, amending section 632A of the city code.
Hey, Ben, good motion. Good, thank you. Good motion. Okay, is there a second to that motion? Randy?
I'll second Ryland's motion.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Okay, any discussion on this before we move ahead? Okay, hearings none. Okay, all in favor of said motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Moving on to 4B, proposed ordinance 2024-13, ordinance amending section 146A of the city code to amend the deposits for all terrain vehicles and utility terrain vehicles. Ben?
Yep, council, this matter is basically just changing the schedule of deposits that we currently have to include all the provisions with the ordinance we just passed for. If there's a citation, individuals can either go to the ordinance and see what the citation would be, or they can go to the schedule of deposits. It's just mirroring the language in the two.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's an important correction. Thank you. Eric, do you have anything to add?
I don't. Ben explained it thoroughly.
Very good. So at this point, then, if somebody would like to introduce the ordinance, you can do that this time, Gretchen.
I'll introduce ordinance 2024-13 and ordinance amending section 146A of the city code to amend the deposits for all terrain vehicles and utility terrain vehicles.
Okay, thank you. Now, if somebody would like to make a motion to waive the first reading, you do so at this time. Matthew, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to waive the first reading of ordinance 2024-13 and ordinance amending section 1-4-6-A of the city code to amend the deposits for all terrain vehicles and utility terrain vehicles.
Okay, is there a second to that motion? Ryland, go ahead, please.
I will second Matthew's motion.
Motion made and seconded to waive the first reading. All in favor, say aye.
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 We need a motion to waive the second reading. If somebody would like to make that motion, we can do so at this time. Chad, your microphone's on. Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to waive the second reading of ordinance 2024-13.
Thank you. Is there a second to that motion? Gretchen?
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Now a motion to adopt. If somebody would like to make a motion to adopt said ordinance, we can do that at this time. Chad, your microphone's on.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-13 and ordinance amending section 146A of the city code to amend the deposits for all terrain vehicles and utility terrain vehicles.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second to that motion? Mary?
I will second that motion.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Moving on to 4C. Proposed resolution 2024-17, a resolution requesting exemption from the county library tax. Discussion and possible motion approving. Eric?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So annually, municipalities are required to pass this resolution if we want to exempt ourselves from the county library tax. There is an exhaustive formula that is used to determine what the minimum contribution is by a municipality. I'm told that we exceed it considerably. So we're doing well in contributing to our library. So we would ask that you would pass this resolution so that way we can avoid that county tax.
Okay, thank you, Eric. So again, I know the county puts up money towards the library, the city puts up towards the library. I know there's some satellite libraries out there that, you know, get a little bit of contribution to Elk Mound and so forth, but it's a great thing and we got a good thing going. So I would recommend the council would approve this. So if somebody would like to make a motion to do so, we can take that at this time. Go ahead, Matthew.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-17, a resolution requesting exemption from the county library tax.
Thank you. Good motion. Is there a second? Go ahead, Cody.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? No?
Simple majority.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, that moves us down to 4D, request from the Community Services Department to sell or dispose of miscellaneous surplus items. David is here if we need to ask him any questions. Otherwise, Eric?
I think it's pretty straightforward. We have some items here from the Community Services Department that we would look to sell or dispose of. We have Dave Frank in the audience too, who is itching to get up and talk about what he'd like to get rid of. Otherwise, David Schofield can provide more details as well.
Everybody clear on what it is, or do we need to ask more questions? Anybody want to make a motion to dispose of these items? You can do so at this time. Jeff Luther.
I'll make a motion to approve the I make to authorize the community service department to sell or dispose of surplus items as presented.
Okay, a good motion. Thank you. Is there a second? Chad, go ahead, please.
Like the second, Mr. Luther's motion?
Okay, motion been made and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, that. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, that brings us down to 4E, the special events permits. And tonight, we're going to be talking about Let's Paint the Town homecoming event in Wilson Park on September 20th. Sylvia was here. She kind of outlined the event. It just so happened that last year by accident, as Chris Cruzy was not available to play the day that he got rained out. So they rescheduled him for the night at the park when the homecoming parade was and the game. And it worked out so good that the school wants to have this happen because it kept all the parents and the kids kind of grounded and so forth. And Let's Paint the Town said, well, we've got a couple of sponsors that will pick up the cost of this. And so it kind of is motivated by a good event. And this year they're looking at doing the same thing. This year they've got the red hot tomatoes. No, homegrown tomatoes. And it's Rob Munlock and a bunch of other teachers and bands, and they're really amazing. So the parade will get over about 4:30, and the music starts, I believe, at 4:45, and they'll get done around 6:15, 6:30 or whatever. And the games, I think, starts at 7, if that's accurate. But this is really good for the citizens of Menomonie, the kids in the parades, the kids in the schools, and it just fell in the lap of Let's Paint the Town, and they're willing to spend the money on putting this together with some food trucks and possibly porta potties. I probably have to have some porta potties there, but to pay for the band was a big expense. And so it's a great event, a great event evolving. And I'm just really tickled that Let's Paint the Town would take this on and support this. So thank you to Let's Paint the Town. So that all being said, unless you have any questions, I would have a motion to waive the rules, but go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the special event permit for the Paint the Town homecoming event in Wilson Park on September 20th of this year, as presented, contingent upon receiving certifications of insurance.
Very good. Good motion. Good motion, Ben. Thank you. Is there a second, Mary?
I will second Lee's motion.
Okay, motion and made and seconded. Any additional discussion? Okay, all in favor of said motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, that brings us down to budget transfers. We do have to transfer some money for demolition from contingency. Eric?
Yeah, so thank you, Mayor. We do have one budget transfer in front of you, and today this is for an amount for $18,869 from our contingency to go to the Health and Human Services account. The particular reason for this is regarding the abatement to bulldozing a house that was no longer habitable, that was brought before this body about a month and a half ago. This will help us pay to cover those costs and expenses on the approved awarding of the bid that we had done earlier.
Okay, any questions at all for Eric or otherwise? Jeff, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve the Health and Human Services budget transfer as presented.
Thank you. Good motion. Is there a second to that? Matthew, go ahead, please.
I'll second Jeff's motion.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Luther,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Yanko,
Yes.
Schwebbs,
Yes.
Gantz,
Yes.
Solberg,
Yes.
Schlu,
Yes.
Erdmann,
Yes.
Summerfeld.
Yes.
Okay, mayor's report. I don't have a lot to talk about other than I took up the game of pickleball. So now I understand what it is all about. And this morning I went down there and it was packed. All the courts were full and there was 26 or 28 people standing waiting to get on the courts in the morning. So now I understand. But before that, if you go down in the mornings or late evenings and watch, that's when the kids and in the mornings, the adults are out. So Very interesting game. I don't play by the rules, but I'm learning. It's like standing on top of a ping pong table and hitting it with a wiffle ball is the best I can describe it. What fun. Good fun. And I met a lot of good people. So other than that, I don't have a lot to say. Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So one of the things I just want to point out, you may have noticed some of the construction that's taking place over at Wilson Park. Yeah, I just want to commend our Community Services Department for the work that they are doing for laying down that concrete pad and then also the pathways. We had some incidents last year where some people had fallen because of the terrain that was there. So we recognized that we had a shortcoming in that park. We want to make sure that it's accessible for everybody, whether or not you're a person with an individual with a disability or you don't have one. Now people will be able to walk through there much easier and be able to enjoy the amenities of that park. So thank you, Dave, and for your team for the great work that you're doing on that. And then also too, we're nearing very close deadline on starting to begin our transition away from our current finance system or enterprise system that we have and moving to the civic system, which we're all very excited for. Our payroll will actually transition in about 2.5 weeks. And then our regular financial ledger will be in about 2 months. So we're getting close to that completion. By next year, we should be 100% on board.
That's great news, Eric. Thank you for that update. I do have one thing, and I'm going to give you the microphone back in a second. But we have a new person here tonight. His name is Ben Simmons, and he's Dave's right-hand man. Dave, if you want to bring Ben up and introduce him and say a few kind words, that'd be great. We're really pleased to have him in the building department. He's done a great job so far, and he's passed a lot of tests, and he's well on his way to being a junior Dave. So, David?
Yeah. Junior, I don't know. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Yes, thank you. So when you guys approved us to hire another team member, we narrowed it down and we hired Ben Simmons to our team, and he's passed his HVAC exam and he's passed his UDC construction exam. So he's doing really well. We're really excited. Kim is excited. I'm excited. So this is Ben.
I'm really excited too.
Well, in your past life, what did you do just before you took on the building inspection job?
So I worked under Chief Class for about 7 years. An opportunity came up and decided to pursue my interest in the trades. So
well, and
happy with how it's going.
One of the things that Dave commented on, you already know the city and you know a lot of the different aspects of a building, you know, whether it's safe or not safe, or, you know, whether you should even go into a building or whatever. And I think that plays well into the building inspection avenue. And so Dave said, you know, I don't know if he's telling the truth or not, but he said all good things about you. So
Well, thank you. Yeah.
I think that's incredible. And so we appreciate you being here. So anything else that you both want to add to it, or?
Oh,
Good,
oh,
yeah.
I'm good.
If you need something, we'll tackle it.
All right. Good job. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Eric?
Yeah, I don't know if Ben knows this or not, but in your agreement in the fine print, it said you had to change your first name to Dave. So I just surprise. One more thing that I wanted to follow up on too, and I'll give kudos to Alderperson Solberg. She serves on our parking utility. We are right now in the process of reviewing our parking downtown, and as well as Chief Hollister has the opportunity to be on that, as serving on that utility as well. We're re-examining our parking both downtown and our municipal lots to try to create more opportunities for overnight parking, while also maximizing our meters and looking for solutions, especially on the meters that are difficult to read, which are on our main street. So look for more of that to come in the next month or two. So we're hoping to have some good solutions that are ferreted out here this year before the end of 2024, and then with a vision on to 2025. So thank you. Yep. And then Dave, if you have any updates.
I actually am fairly quiet this week, so hand it back.
Wow. How about we go around council? Any communication pieces? Lee? No? Gretchen?
We had another rail commission meeting, and it was reported that the Borealis, which is the new Amtrak line between Twin Cities and Chicago, has excellent ridership, which bodes well for us. Because the market here is proving to show good ridership, like almost double what they expected for the starting months, like 50,000 riders already in the last 2 months. And also encourage everyone to ride the Duncounty Transit. There's lots of great stops around town.
Thank you. Matthew?
Two things. Tomorrow, UW Stout has a Meet Menomonie event put on by the Chamber of Commerce. And I think it's at the Field House. And I was just wondering if we have a booth there for the city.
You do. Kate, you're gonna be there? I know in the past we have had, and I didn't organize that this year, so.
Yeah, I've been in touch with SSA and the League of Women Voters, and we're working together to create some voter drives for students. So we're trying to get on it now as they're getting assigned to their campus rooms and trying to just make them aware of how to vote early and avoid the lines on election day. So
There you go. Yeah, I think it'd be good.
Trust.
Be good to have a city Menomonie booth in the future and engage with the students and welcome them to the city as well.
We have done that. Randy, I did a lot of times would take that on and we do, we've got like a Plinko board and some other weird stuff that we've done. And usually I do go down through there and say hi and whatever to a lot of the booths especially. But yeah, it'll be covered. I mean, it will at least make a presence,
There you go.
but we won't have the city won't have an actual booth, but Kate will. That's a city booth. So
We're counting it.
yeah, we're counting it. We're counting that as a city booth. But
And the police department has had one where they have great little quiz and
They
I don't-
have.
make you look good when you do well.
There you go. There you go.
The second item with the rec advisory board is we have some exciting things coming down the pipe. We got bids out to redo Phelan Park and to get some brand new playground equipment. And instead of spending our budget on each park and doing a little bit at each park, we're going to revamp the parks, going by what was needed the most and what needs the most TLC. And we believe that's Phelan Park. And so we got bids out to Little Tykes and I believe Burke, and to have an all-inclusive park with ADA compliance and handicap accessibility slide. And I think it'll be a good thing. And we're excited to pass that at our upcoming meetings and to bring that to the city council as well.
That's good work, Matthew. Thank you for that report. It is all of these small committees that do a big job, and that's one of them that's been working really hard on this. So I appreciate that. Jeff Luther?
Yeah, I have a friend of mine. He was also a neighbor for 12, 13 years. His dad passed away a couple years ago. He was a World War II veteran. And Kevin has a plaque for his dad in memory of him. I was gonna reach out to the Boy Scouts to see if one of their members would be willing to build a park bench to earn a badge or whatever and put that plaque on that bench. But when I talked to Randy, he said that, we might have to make like some kind of a proposal. He would like to place it in Wilson Park, if all possible. He grew up right a couple blocks from here. His dad's name was David Clark. He had an upholstery business here in town. And I think it'd be a nice gesture, to, do something like that for his dad. Because he was the only child that took care of his dad until his passing. And his dad is not even buried in a cemetery anywhere. So, there's no headstone or anything for Kevin to remember his dad by. So I think it'd be a nice gesture if the city would, allow a bench being built and put it into one of our parks. It wouldn't necessarily have to be Wakanda. It could be along the bike trail, Kevin said, if it was possible.
Okay, and thank you for that piece of information. Jeff, I think I would have you work with David. He's really connected with Mitch and the parks, and they'll find a location and maybe you can work on a design concept, but I don't see a problem with it. Where we do kind of get ourselves into a box sometimes with memoriams is if we plant a tree, for instance, and the tree goes bad or it's in the wrong spot and we have to take the tree down, or all of a sudden the park bench, after a few years, something happens to it. So, but if we do it right, I think David will help you make all that happen, and take it up with David and he'll help you. Thank you. Randy?
I tend to drive through the eco cottages and then the Estover on top, and it's amazing how many people are moving in already. And it's just cool to see that we did that kind of. And we supported it, and to see people move in it, I think it's really cool.
Good, thank you. Rylan? No, Chad? No, Mary? Cody? Hey, so your fellow students are back. Any news on the home front on Stout and student move in, and had heard anything from campus kids that yes, it went well, or no, boy, I tell you, or whatever?
No, I mean, not really. I'm not a student anymore. I graduated. So
You did? You
I did.
graduated?
I graduated last year.
Oh my.
So I haven't heard too much, but what I have heard has been positive.
You heard positive. Well, we like to have you hear positive, but wow, you graduated.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, good. I'm glad that you made it through all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Staff, Ben? Kate?
No, I mean, I think Matthew kind of highlighted what I was going to mention to everybody. But yeah, we're going to have several voter registration drives at Stout coming up. So if you know any students, or if you are in touch with any groups of students, Gretchen, you can certainly pass the word that we are eager to get them vote or registered before Election Day.
To help with that, I do put voter information, that's neutral voter information, on my window in my office. There's some locations where we could put some voter information if we have some just throughout. I mean, I'm kind of in and out of the place. But when students come through, I can at least try to give them up-to-date info. So if there's any of that.
Yeah, if you need any resources, we've got tons.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
and the Involvement Center, you know, does a lot with that.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Now we're going to move on to claims. It's a revised claims list tonight. So if anybody would like to make a motion to pass the revised claims list, we can do that at this time. Go ahead, Rylan.
Yeah, I would make a motion to pass the revised claims list as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second to that motion? Mary?
I will second Ryland's motion.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Crow,
Yes.
Yanko,
yes.
Schweppes,
Yes.
Yes.
Gantz, Solberg,
Yes.
Schlü,
Yes.
Erdmann,
Yes.
Sommerfeld,
Yes.
Luther.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. That brings us down to licenses. It's a normal license list. Anybody like to make a motion to pass the licenses? We can do that at this time. Oh, here it is. Nothing. Oh. Okay, Jeff,
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the normal license list as presented.
thank you. Is there a second to that motion? Matthew,
I'll second Jeff's motion.
motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We do have to go into closed session tonight. If somebody'd like to make a motion to go into closed session, we can do that at this time. Chad,
I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session.
thank you. Is there a second to that? Mary,
I will second Chad's motion.
motion made and seconded to go into closed session. Roll call vote.
Yanko,
Yes.
Schweppes,
Yes.
Yes.
Gantz, Solberg,
Yes.
Schlü,
Yes.
Erdmann,
Yes.
Sommerfeld,
Yes.
Luther.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We'll give a moment,
Recording stopped.
give us a moment